MZTV.
Yes, I realize that I'm wearing a sport coat without a shirt underneath. Yes, I realize that I'm wearing sunglasses indoors. Yes, I know all this, and I don't care because, man, am I ticked. I am so ticked off. I dare anybody to watch this show. I dare anybody to listen to what I say on this show. You're not going to believe what I saw just 15 minutes ago. Okay, Juliana and I, we have this friend named Giselle, right? And she grew up in Peru with Juliana. So she comes here to visit every once in a while. She lives in Dallas these days. So we were talking about the coronavirus last night. Yeah, and she's all concerned because the people in the white coats told her to be concerned. Because the TV told her to be concerned. Because she's a go-along. She's a get-along. She's a, well, they said, the doctor said. So we're having a little drink, a little smoke, and then afterwards, you know, as Juliana and I are wont to do, I gave her a hug and a kiss on the cheek. Giselle went absolutely nuts. And she wasn't kidding either. I hugged, she goes, what are you doing? What are you two doing? I looked at her like, what? Like, what do you think's going to happen now? What do you think? I'm just giving her a hug and a kiss on the cheek like we always do. Oh, my God, you're so irresponsible. She was not kidding. We're so irresponsible. So what did Juliana and I do? We did it again. I hugged her again. She freaked out. She literally got a can of Lysol, and as I was leaving, she started to spray me with the Lysol. It's just unbelievable. I mean, this lady's crazy. So, I mean, but I love her. So just this morning, about 15 minutes ago, I see on the patio out here, but I see them, Juliana and Giselle, walking Charles. And I see Giselle has a mask on. A mask on. Can you believe it? Walking in a neighborhood, being a youngish, healthy woman, and she's walking with a mask on. And I thought, what is the world coming to? I'll tell you what the world is coming to. There's never been a generation that has been so weak-willed, so stupid, so programmable than this generation. What happened to the greatest generation, the World War II generation? What happened to the American Revolution generation? What happened to the Civil War generation? What happened to Abraham Lincoln? I hope Trump turns into an Abraham Lincoln. And I hope that using emergency powers that he overrides the governors who are trying to outdo each other in the posturing department, in the preening department, and in the I care more about other people than you do department. There's a name for that. I just can't think of it now. I'll think of it. Yes, I know I'm drinking Rabbit Hole Kentucky bourbon that has been finished in sherry casks. I realize that. This is a gift from a man named Larry in Ohio. Thank you very much for this. I didn't buy this stuff. This is expensive, but it's kind of spoiling me now. I hope that Trump knows what's going on. I'm starting to get a little shaky on Trump. I think he's going to come through. But if it comes down to a guy in a lab coat, who's this guy in the lab coat in these briefings who's saying, well, we looked at the data, and we think that, wait a minute, you think what? You're from the same brigade, the same organization that can't predict the weather? You're part of the same, quote, scientific community that tells us the world is going to end in 12 years because it's going to warm up so much because of global warming. Therefore, we have to change the way we live. We have to quit driving cars. We have to quit flying airplanes. We have to quit eating beef. This comes to you from the same people who claim that you're descendant from monkeys. Yeah, the same kinds of people, they run in the same circles. Yeah, there's the we descend from monkeys group. There's the earth is going to burn up in 12 years, so we have to stop eating cows, that group. There's it's going to be partly sunny tomorrow, but it ends up being, a thunderstorm all day, that group. And now this group that says there's going to be 100 million deaths of the coronavirus. Well, if you could predict the weather tomorrow, okay, and if you can tell us that we didn't descend from apes because there's no physical or fossil evidence of it, yeah, then maybe we might listen to you. And that's a big might. You kind of the same people, and we're supposed to believe you. Why? Because you have a white lab coat? Ooh, look at your white lab coat. Well, I have a sports jacket with no shirt. Nobody's going to believe me. And yet, I'm the guy who's right. Such a paradox, such a great thing. God always does it this way. It's fantastic. I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way, actually. So because he's wearing a lab coat, because he has a stethoscope, Trump, I I hope this is true, what I'm about to say. I hope that Trump is just like, yeah. And then after he's squeaking, well, look at the numbers, look at the figures. Look at our projections. Oh, you mean the same projection that caused that Brit in the UK to dial back his prediction from 500,000 deaths to 20,000? Like that guy? That guy because, I was using the wrong modeling. Oh, like the famous hockey stick curve of the global warming brigade, they used the wrong model. They used the wrong projection. What do you know? The wrong projection. Wow. The people who can't tell you what the weather's going to do tomorrow, let alone next week, these people got a wrong projection and they missed it? And if you miss it by a little bit, in 20 years, you miss it by 100 miles. So, yeah, our projection, Trump, and then he's got to say, well, thank you, doctor. I can't imitate Trump. Who can? Well, some people can. Well, thank you, doctor. Appreciate it. You've been great. You're the best. Love you. Nobody's like you. I'll tell you this. You're wonderful. You're the best. But get the hell out of here. I'm going to start the country back up. Get the hell out of here. Thank you very much. Get the fuck out of my room. I hope that happens. I really do. Because unless Trump starts being Trump, this thing's going to go nuts. And it's all political. I see that now. It's all political. People are texting me. People are writing me, Martin, you don't realize how bad this is. You don't realize. People are dying. They're taking the dead out in carts. What? Just like Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Bring out your dead. Bring out your dead. I'll tell you something about the dead. Anybody who dies right now of this is lucky, who's not in the body of Christ. They're lucky because they're going to miss the tribulation. How come I'm the only one saying this? I'm not. Of course, they're not saying it on the news. Yeah.
We have this report that every person who dies of the coronavirus is actually lucky because, according to our calculations, tribulation begins in the spring of 21. The white horse rider is already in place. The red horse rider soon to follow, but will be preceded by a period of possibly 18 months of great prosperity. However, that will be quickly eclipsed by the red horse rider, followed by the black horse rider, followed by the green horse rider, not to mention the locusts. For 5 months coming up from the submerged chaos, compliments of that demented demon down there, what the hell is his name? Apollyon. And then comes the 200 million horsemen released from the river Euphrates. And so, according to our calculations, anybody who dies is going to miss all that BS. It's going to miss the sun being darkened for 5 days, going to miss a third of humanity being killed by supernatural means. You know what? They're starting to say that this virus is going to kill like a third of humanity. Some stupid numbers. I'm like scratching my head. You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. This ain't the tribulation, baby. You're not going to be able to kill the tribulation with a freaking Clorox wipe. You're not going to kill the tribulation with a Clorox wipe. You're not going to kill the green horse rider with a Clorox wipe. This thing can be killed with a Clorox wipe. Let it kill. Let it do what it has to do. Again, we can't wreck world economy for your grandpa. I'm sorry, but we're not going to do it. Trump's talking April 12th. He better stick to that. I'm telling you. I think he will because, again, this is not the green horse rider of the tribulation. So anybody who dies is luckier than hell. You have no idea. I mean, people, even we have no idea of the horror of the tribulation. We have no idea. Told by Jesus Christ and John as the worst trial ever to come upon the earth, that ever has come upon the earth, that ever will come upon the earth. And people are just like, we hope we recover from the coronavirus. Harold, do you feel better now? What, do you feel better now? You better hope the hell that Harold doesn't feel better. Because if you die, you're a fortunate person. Fortunate. I say that with no qualms. No qualms whatsoever. People die. Shit happens. And again, you know, as of today, whatever this day is, Sunday, whatever, at the end of March, I don't know. Only, get this, all this panic, all this ridiculous, only 2,000, just over 2,000 people have died in the U.S. 18 million people die from diarrhea every year. Yeah, diarrhea. But nobody gives a shit about diarrhea, do they? Where's the work stoppage? Where's the flights grounded? Yeah. Is it that nobody gives a shit about lots of shit? I wonder. It's because it's all political. It's all political from start to finish. I'm not saying the virus isn't real. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, as I
said earlier, I made this point right at the beginning, and this holds true. People are so fearful of death. They so want to preserve their sorry lives. They don't want to see God. They don't want to see Christ. They don't want to be visited by Jesus. They just want to talk about him. They don't want to see him. Like Job said, I heard of you with my ear, but now I see you. Now I know you. This was after great trial. Nobody wants to see or know the Lord, especially if a great trial must precede it. You and I know that we're perfected through trial. So the Lord comes to us, and then we're ready for anything. We're ready for anything. I'll never forget that tornado I tried to get into in Bessemer, Alabama, back in 2013 or something. I told some of you about this. Some of you haven't heard it because you're new to the show. I'm trying to scare you off. I dare you to listen to me. I'm the opposite of a guy in a white lab coat with a stethoscope with a degree who's mainstream. It's mainstream. And so they put their trust in him. The doctor says, oh, you have high blood pressure, therefore we're going to have to put you on this medication. But this medication might cause side effects, but no problem, we have medication to cover the side effects of the medication. But unfortunately, that medication also causes side effects. It may make you want to kill yourself, which would be a good thing, actually, but if it doesn't, then there are other side effects equally debilitating, namely liver failure, kidney failure, heart failure, and brain failure. You might survive this, but we doubt it. But don't worry, we have 10 more medications hot on its heels that will cure you from the cure. Yeah, we need cured from the cure. In this case, the cure is definitely worse than the disease. We shouldn't have stopped anything, nothing, zero. I'm talking nothing. We should have done nothing different. Let the frickin' disease do its worst. 1 billion people. 1 billion people. In less than 24 hours, 1 billion people will be spared the tribulation. All right, thanks, Dr. Evil. If we had done nothing, we'd be better off than what's going to happen or what's going to be close to happening. But I still maintain to you that Trump, I've been a little shaky on it now. Hoping he's not listening to Dr. Demento.
Let me tell you about our many projections. Let me tell you what's happening. I cannot predict the weather tomorrow, but I will tell you what's going to happen in 2 years. Oh, the coronavirus will still be running rampant, killing all kinds of people. We now recommend that you wear 3 masks instead of 2, and that you wear 2 pairs of underwear and a helmet, and shoulder pads, and knee pads, and that you wear cleats for your shoes so that the cleats will elevate you at least 1/2 inch from the ground, because there may be a virus on the ground. You never know, it could happen. Therefore, you must be prepared for every contingency. Safety must be first. We don't care. Let's go to safety, don't you know?
Yeah, okay, so you're going to listen to these people. Is that what you're going to do? So there he was in Bessemer, Alabama, and the news was calling for a tornado. Some of you may have heard this before, but I have new subscribers all the time. So the tornado, I love violent weather, right? So I wanted to see this thing. It was 10 o'clock p.m., and the preliminary part of the tornado was rather impressive. I mean, you never know where these things are going to go for sure. So anyway, there was thunder and lightning like I've never seen before. Well, I have seen lightning like that, but not in combination with thunder. So this stuff was booming, and I was so glad that I was on God's side, and that God was on my side, and that he loved me. I was so happy, because I knew that this was nothing compared to the tribulation. I couldn't wait for this thing to hit. Little did I know. Well, I got to tell you this. The owners of the house where I was visiting, they were hunkered in the bathroom with a mattress over their heads. Yeah, a husband and wife and 4 kids in the bathroom with a mattress. And the wife told the husband, go out there and tell Zender to get his stupid ass in here because he's going to die. So the husband came out, went, Zender, get in here. No, I got to see this thing. It's like on Twister, you know, when Helen Hunt has to see, she's strapped in with John Paxton in the barn, and she just has to see this thing, and she's like a fatal attraction to the whirlwind, a fatal attraction to the funnel, to the suck zone. Yeah. So I said, I got to see this thing. So I stayed out there, and I realized it was foolhardy. But then things got calm all of a sudden. Like, there was a weird calm. And I go, oh, crap, it's not coming. I went in the house. Just as I went in the house, the door got sucked shut. And the thing hit, and the house was shuddering. And I'm like, ah, crap, I missed it. And then the next day, found out it went right down the street, and the roof was gone. Down a big branch fell, missed my 99 Ford Contour by about 5 feet. That was exciting, and so I was so glad to be on God's side. But this kind of thing, I don't know why I started even telling you that, but oh, I know why. Fear of death. Fear of death. See, I have no fear of death. I mean, I'm not going to do anything stupid. I wear my seatbelt. You might say it was stupid to flirt with that tornado. I grant you that. I could have been hit by a flying object, an unidentified flying object. I could have been struck by a UFO. But I wasn't. Here I am to talk about it today. In fact, I shot a video, which I'm going to link down there right now, of the preliminaries. I didn't get the actual tornado because it was dark. I couldn't see it anyway, but it went right down the street. It was a Cat 3. Yeah, that'll rearrange your house. Cat 3 will. Great line from Twister. They're trying to explain the Fujita scale to that one girl who doesn't know anything about it. And they're going through category 1, 2, 3, 4, F1, F2, F3, F4. And she says, is there an S? She's in a group of tornado chasers, mind you. She says, is there such thing as an F5? The room gets dead quiet. Couldn't even hear angel wings flapping. And the one crazy guy, this one guy goes, the finger of God. Love it. Is there such thing as an F5? Dead silence. And then, the finger of God. Yeah, it's the finger of God. And people are so afraid to die. They think that this life is just so rich, such a treasure chest, and that they're afraid of the unknown. Even the Christians, they're scared to death. They're scaredies because they don't know anything of what's coming. They're not sure they're saved, really. So this whole thing stems from a fear of death. And it's panicky. It's panicky. Giselle, the mask, walking down the road, fear of death, and willingness to listen to anybody who professes to be an expert. Well, he had a lab coat. Oh, did he? Yeah. Well, he had a stethoscope around his neck. Oh, really? Did he? Yeah, well, he had a diploma on his wall. He told me there was such thing as eternal torment, so I just believed him. Well, the guy in the lab coat told me I had high blood pressure, so I had to go on this medication. I just had to. I know people are telling me, Martin, you just don't know what's going on. I'm sticking with this. This is my program. This is the thing. This damn virus is going to die anyway in a couple months because of the heat and the humidity. We're actually the safest place down here right now because we're in the low 80s with humidity, so the damn virus can't exist here. Look at the death rate for Florida. Yeah, 2,000 people have died. What, 2,000? That's it in the U.S.? You call this a problem? Don't do anything. People die. It's a natural thing. I'm not talking about eugenics or anything where people decide who dies. I'm talking about a natural thing, a God thing, that people die every year. So 30,000 people die again from the regular flu every year. We got 20,000 now. 2,000, and we're shutting down the whole country? And it makes news when people get it. Oh no, 100 more people have been diagnosed with the thing. And you don't hear this news, do you? That 120,000 people have contracted it and recovered from it. No, that doesn't fit the template of the plan to control the masses. Control the masses. Mm-hmm. All right, so you're not going to believe what just happened. I'm at the Winn-Dixie here at Fort Lauderdale. I just got out of the Winn-Dixie, and I'm here to get oatmeal and a chocolate bar. So I go to get in line, and there's this lady in front of me, and she's standing like 5 feet behind the person in front of her, to the point that I'm trying to get behind her and we're blocking the aisle behind us, right? So I moved up closer to her to try to give her a clue, move the heck up. Move the heck up. We got people trying to have lives back here on the aisle. So I do the same thing on the highway. If somebody's lollygagging in the left lane, which you know is an issue for me, I have to, educate them. I'm an educator by trade. So I usually start tailgating them. And ordinarily they get there's the lady right there in that red car. That's the one. I'm going to tell you what happened. That's the one. Anyway, so I give people a message. I creep up on them, and it usually works. So I'm trying to creep up on this lady, try to give her a clue that people are trying to have a life back here. So she turns around. Are you ready for this? She turns around. She goes, a couple feet would be nice. Yeah, turns around, coughs on me. A couple feet would be nice. I just said, sure thing. That's all I said. Sure thing. Sure thing. So I get to the checkout, and she's still hanging around. She has some kind of issue with her receipt or something. And she was holding a case of beer. And I wanted to tell her, you know how many people have touched that beer? Why don't you keep yourself 4 feet from the beer? So as I'm leaving, she's still standing there waiting to get some grievance addressed. And I said to her, try a couple cough drops for that cough. I said, try a couple cough drops for that cough. And she didn't say anything to me, but that was her driving away in that red car. 2,000 people have died in the U.S. More people die every day from cutting themselves shaving. Men and women alike. Oh my God. 120,000 people have got this thing and recovered from it. You ever hear that? No. Why not? Because it doesn't fit the political agenda. And folks, it's all political. Take a couple cough drops for it. I just should have started French kissing that lady. Oh my God, that would have been great. You always think of these things later. Never when it's happening.
Oh, yes, that feels wonderful. Oh, that feels lovely.
Benjamin Netanyahu is telling his people,
Don't worry, this is just like the Passover. Yeah, just like the Passover. A lot like the Passover. Yeah, kind of like the Passover. You know, when the death angel went through the lid, and the Israelites stayed in their house, and they practiced social distancing, and they were spared from the death angel. Well,
yeah, okay, that's a great theory, but you couldn't kill the death angel with a frickin' Clorox wipe, could you? Ben, could you kill the death angel with a Clorox wipe? No? Okay, so your analogy sucks. Finally got Giselle last night to agree that, yeah, I guess maybe it would be worse to crash the world economy. I guess I can see that would be a problem. Oh, no, that wasn't Giselle, that was Carrie. Carrie was here. She might be watching this show, too. She might be watching this. She told me last night she watched some of my shows on the coronavirus. I said, you did? That always kind of scares me when people say they watched my shows and, like, you still like me? You're still friends with me? That's awesome. Well, if you're watching, Carrie, hello. Hello. I forget what I just said, but I know you were very, very concerned about the projections, the prognostications. Oh, yes, you agreed with us finally, with Juliana and I, because Juliana has somewhat of a level head about this, that, yeah, it's worse to crash the world economy. Yeah. I think many more people will die from that. Many, many more people than the 2,000 in the United States who have died from it thus far. Yeah, I think it's a lot worse. Don't you? To wreck the world economy? So, blessed are the dead. You don't know how lucky they are. I'm talking young and old alike. I'm not even talking about elderly. I'm talking about anybody. Because I know what's coming. Because I can read the scriptures. I know how to take the Word of God literally, allowing for figures of speech. I did a 3.5-year study on the book of Revelation. If you don't know that there, watch it. Go to my website, martinzender.com. Scroll to the bottom of the homepage. It says the Revelation series. I have 800 shows. Yes, you heard right, 800 shows on the book of Revelation. The best series out there on the book of Revelation. And I know that these things coming are real. And I know that people are afraid of everything. People are afraid of everything, but especially death. But we in Christ, we have the spiritual equivalent of the spirit of the Revolution. George Washington and George Patton and Lincoln. And we have this can-do, tough spirit. No, I'm not saying we're like these people. I'm just saying in spirit, follow me here. It's an analogy. In spirit, we are strong because we trust God. Just like me standing there in that tornado, I trusted God. I was there. It might have been stupid, but in the moment, he protected me because it was an example. It was something for me to tell you today, to show you that we stand fearless in the face of death. We know our Lord. We know what death is. We understand what it is. We know that we have an expectation, not a hope. We have an expectation of future glory. And we are not going to fall prey to institutional preachers who tell us that God is an eternal tormentor. We're not going to be fall prey to institutional education people who tell you that the best thing you can do is go to college. We're not going to be seduced or duped by mainstream medicine that tells us, well, here's the projection. This thing is going to kill 2 million people by next Friday. Well, no, we're not going to believe those people just because they're wearing a lab coat or just because the seminary graduate has a diploma on his wall. And we're not going to believe the educators just because, oh, you had to go to 4 years of college in order to teach kindergarten? What? Say that again. Say that again. You can't teach kindergarten in this country unless you have a 4-year degree. What? Tell me this again? A 4-year degree for kindergarten? I know teenagers who are more qualified and smarter and better with children who can teach kindergarten. But no, they can't teach it because they don't have a diploma. This is why Peter, James, and John could not preach in the synagogue. They didn't have a diploma. They didn't go through the schools of the Pharisees. They were a scribe. Jesus Christ himself would not be qualified for any of the official positions in the synagogue. Why? Because he was untrained and uneducated. He grew up in, tell me again, Nazareth? Oh, God. Can anything good come out of Nazareth? Oh, hell no. I beg to differ.